I put recording now. But well, I have seen you come in another live chat with Erdi. I remember it.
Yeah, true. It was like 2 days ago, I think.
Oh, okay, okay. Tell me, Camo. Well, here you are the only one that it's the first time that I have talked to you. Tell me a little bit about you, please.
Well, my name is Kamo Aras. I was born in Iraqi Kurdistan, and now I live in France, and I am 22 years old, and I love, my passion is language. And yeah, I think that's enough about me.
Yeah, that's incredible. You speak English very well, and
Thank
you are living in France as well. So you are managing 3 languages at least, aren't you?
3 languages, but not French. I'm learning French at the moment, but I can speak Kurdish, English, and Arabic. Yeah.
Okay, so you there in France, you manage everything in English. It's okay.
So far, yes, because it's only 1 month that I am in France, so 1 month and a week or something like that. So it's not a long time. Yeah, but English is enough so far.
Oh, okay, okay. What time it is, guys, over there where you are now? Erdi, it's
right now is 7:41 p.m.
okay.
It is 5:41 here.
Okay, the hour it's
Sergey have the same as me.
Oh, we have the same time.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, Russia I imagine that Russia has lots of time zones.
Yes, that's true. That's true indeed.
RD and I were living in the same time zone.
Oh, okay, okay. Well,
relates to Russia skills, we are living close to each other.
great, great. Yes, yes. That's amazing. Camo, tell me a little bit. Well, you have been moving to. It's the first country you have moved to.
No, before France, I was in Germany for 6 months. So yeah.
Okay, okay. But do you want to establish in some country, or you are traveling?
No, it's not traveling. I'm actually the refugee in France, and I was refugee in Germany as well. But no, I want to stay. I always wanted to stay in France, but Germany was. It was some circumstances took me to Germany, but yeah, I prefer to live in France, and I see the people are nice, and I think I would live here for a lifetime, if possible, if it's possible.
Oh, great. Well, that's why English is important, because finally it's the international language. So so there you can communicate in other in an international language. Let's talk about a little bit about that, guys, about migration. Why well, can you, I don't know who can start giving their opinion about it. Come on, perhaps we can start with you. Well, you perhaps you can deepen it as much as you want, right? But can you tell me a little bit why do you think that people perhaps from your country have to move to other places? Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Of course. I mean, there are. I mean, if you talk about the reasons why people migrate to different countries, there are a lot of reasons, and everybody has a different reason why they want to live in another country and leave their home country. Well, I mean, about me, I mean, I had of course, I had personal reasons to leave my own country. It was not the same as why many people in my country wants to leave it. I had to leave it actually, I mean, personally, but I mean, my country, it's not that bad for other people if they want to stay, because especially in my area, Kurdistan, people are somewhat safe. The war and things stopped there. So, I mean, there are not a lot of reasons, like security reasons, to live there. But I had my own security reasons, personal reasons, because I had personal death threats, because I was activist and I was writing things and stuff like that. So I had to leave my country personally. But other people, what I see, for example, because when I was in Germany, I was in a camp, in a refugee camp. So I had seen many people from Pakistan and Syria and other parts of the world. Yeah, especially Syrian people, they get out from this country because of war. Some people in other countries, like African countries, from Kenya and Nigeria, they moved to another country because of financial problems. I also had seen people, they had religious problems. And for example, people came from Iran, they converted to Christianity. Some other people had, same as me, they had writing problems because they had political and religious problems and somehow. So there are many reasons why. And there is another type of migration in which you don't have any problem, but you want to go to another country to live as an expat. Maybe to improve your life or something like that. I mean, we can see this in history. For example, many European people in the beginning of the 20th and 19th century, they went to America, you know, as they were the phrase American dream. So some people just migrate to another country because they like to live in that country. Or, for example, I've always had the idea of moving to Japan or one of the Asian countries like Vietnam, China, or Indonesia maybe, because I was interested in their culture and I was interested to live there as an expat so that I could learn more about their language, I could learn more about their culture. So there are many, many reasons why would people want to leave. But nowadays, when we hear the word migration or immigration, we see the image of war, because many people are displaced in their home countries, not because they wanted to leave, just because they forced to leave. Like I am included somehow. I mean, I was forced to leave my country illegally, which is pretty sad in a way.
Yeah. Can you? Well, I want to go back to this point about migration. But first of all, I want to ask you something. How did you learn English? How you have started learning English? Because you have developed it a lot.
Well, English was always my favorite language. It was one of my favorite languages. So even I remember when I was a kid, I had no idea about any linguistic ideas, like linguistic processes about how to learn a language. I was just a little kid, but I was moving my mouth strangely just to pretend that I'm speaking another language. I have always been interested in learning languages. And English, I started from grade 5 in elementary school, and since then I'm trying to reinforce myself to be better and better and better. And I've used many ways. I mean, I cannot say, because the answer is really multi-layered. I mean, it's a bit complex to talk about everything, to give just one sentence and say, oh, this is how I learned. I've used many things. I've watched TV shows, radio shows, short stories. I was reading short stories and books, studying at school, and so there are many things and platforms I've used to improve my English.
Great, great, great. Thank you very much for sharing that experience
Welcome.
with us. Erdi and Sergey, well, you both live in Russia, but what how far away do you live between the two of you both?
About 600 or 700 kilometers. Mhm.
Okay, okay.
Between us. It's not far long. I have been to Sochi a long time ago when it was Olympic Games, Paralympic Games in Sochi. That time was the most incredible for me. It is a very impressive time.
Great.
That was
what did that happen?
it was in 2014. In 2014.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, really nice.
Yeah.
And how is
Yes.
migration over there? Well, actually, I have to say that only a couple of days ago I have seen a video where they explained the difference between migration, immigration, and there is another word, but I don't remember now the difference, right? But the reality, well, we use the word migration, but there is one of those words which is used for animals, not for human beings, but we use the same word, right?
There is another word called diaspora as well. Diaspora.
Okay.
Diaspora. Sorry. Diaspora.
Oh, okay.
Diaspora. Mm-hmm.
Well, diaspora, I guess that when is there is a lot of people that that flee from one country, I guess. But yeah, there are lots of words, but we are talking about migrants because we are not experts, you know. But I would like to know how is migrancy there in Russia? Perhaps you both, Sergey and Erdi, you live in two different cities. But I would like to know if there are lots of foreigners over there. Can you please, Sergey, I want to start with you. Can you tell me about migration there in your hometown? Have you seen foreigners over there? How it is?
Okay, I'll try to explain what happened in my region about migration. Honestly, our city at the edge of Russia, and it's one of the famous city. And lately, 4 years ago, and before Olympic building, many people came to us to build those Olympic buildings, and our city was overcrowded with those builders who came to us, and it's a reason why I left my city and begin to travel around the world because I lose my patience. And you know, those time I have been driving by bus, and heavily traffic jam is getting me down, and
Oh,
I can't work any longer, and suggest my wife to leave everything and to go anywhere. And we choose 3 countries which way to go, and many months we were out of our country, beyond of Russia, enjoying our time, and we come back only when Olympic Games was over. And what immigration? So I lose the point of the
no,
speech.
but by the way, I have to say that first, I was talking about with LD what topic we could talk about, and in a moment he suggests me, let's talk about sports, but then we realized that we didn't know much about it. So, and
Yes, we have a lot of things to talk about. And
yeah, but how did you deal, you two both, with the last football World Cup? Was it developed there in your home countries? Please tell me if there have been some much there in your home countries, in your hometowns.
I guess I didn't catch the point of your meaning, Marcelo.
Yeah,
If you're asking about a football team,
yeah, was there some? There was last year. There was the football World Cup, right, in Russia.
Yes.
Was there some match over there in your hometown?
Yes, we had 3 match in our city, but to tell the truth, I'm not a fan of football, and I didn't follow the sport.
Oh, okay. You don't remember what matches were them?
No, I'm not a fan of that.
Oh, okay. But did it affect you? Did it affect? Could you bear it? Was there lots of people over there cause of that?
No, yes, sometimes I met people from other countries, but not very often. All day I'm busy at my job, and I have a lot of duties. Sometimes I met them on the streets. They were moving
Okay.
from one place to another. Honestly, I'm not. I have to repeat, I'm not a fan of sport.
Okay. So I understand, Sergey, that there is not much migration or much migration there in your hometown, and there have been sometimes, due to some specific events, that there have been lots of foreigners there, but it's not that common. That is what I'm understanding. Am I in a mistake, Sergey?
No, I would say foreigners and people from other countries very rarely visited our city.
Okay.
English speech, I have never heard English speech on our streets.
Okay.
It's I don't know. It's not in international touristic place.
Okay. So what is there another language spoken there in your hometown, or only
No,
Russian?
we use only our mother language.
Oh, okay, okay, great. Erdi, can you tell me a little bit? Well, these two questions have the football World Cup bothered you somehow? Were there some matches played over there, and about migrancy there in your hometown?
I will start from migrancy.
Okay.
From my view, it is intense, very intense problem, because young people, strong people wants to go out from our town to other countries, to Moscow, to St. Petersburg, and because of course it is the main reason is economic state, economic situation. Poverty pushes, force people to migrate, to leave their native places, and so it is a very bad situation, because flow of migration leave our place without labor force, and of course it is not good for our region. And but it is I need to note that such situation around Russia, all Russia, entire Russia, situation of Russia, in any region, the same state. And people wants to live because they don't like Russian economic, Russian politics. It is, as we all know, Russia under how to say, sanctions. Yes, is it right or not? Sanctions of European unity, and so Russian economy goes down. It is definitely.
Well, you are giving you
No one's want to come to Russia. No one wants to come to my city in Elista, because it is only crazy people wants to come here to live here. And it's,
well,
of course,
it's a really interesting. It's a really interesting point of view, because I thought that people would go there to your hometowns, but you are giving us another point of view of it, which is that most people rather leave your home, well, at least you or the and I guess that perhaps it's similar, that happens to Sergey. Perhaps people, young people rather leave your hometowns. That's really harsh.
No. In reality, lately, after Olympic Games, our city become more famous, and a lot of people from other region in Russia have a great desire to settle in Vysochi, and nowadays my own land overcrowded. Many buildings many buildings ready to accept new people, and we have a lot of new towns, and
Okay, that's a good news.
it's a reason because home prices in the nowadays. No, I wanted to say another thing. Home prices lately. I confused and can't
I guess
concentrate.
that due to the migration, prices of houses have been rising.
Yes, the prices of houses rises lately. Maybe like this.
Okay, okay.
Let me notice that it is not fair to compare my city and Sergei city, because it is big difference.
Oh, okay.
30, it is the most, how to say, popular thing, popular place in Russia. It is definitely.
It's a warm
Russia,
it's a warm city where
it's a
people
warm
prefer to rest,
place.
their
Yes,
vacation.
because next to sea, 30 on the sea, placed on the sea, it is nice place to live. There is warm, there is soft winter, and not hot sun, summer, and
Oh, right.
regards to other place.
Well, finally, Russia is like the size of a whole continent. For me, for example, in the map I see like Russia is like all South America, for example. So it's really big, and I guess that there are so many different places. So it's really difficult to really compare. It's not fair as you or these say. And but well, there is. I don't know if I have interrupted the development of your topic, RD, or it's okay. But there is another question. Well, it's a more fun question about football World Cup. Was there some match developed there performed there in your home city? Did you?
No, my home city have small stadium, and it is not for such event as World Cup. It's for local football, and small, and not comfortable, not modern. It is old.
Oh, okay.
But what relates to football, I have been a fan for a long time, and um I attended a lot of games and on the stadium, and watched matches via TV, but I lost my interest to football, because to watch Russian football, it is very torture. It is great torture.
The same as my countries.
Games is corruption, and arbitrary. Referee is corrupted, and they it is very how to say, ridiculous to watch. So after some time, I lost my interest, and I said to myself, I never will watch Russian football, Russian competition. And so last World Cup I didn't watch any games because it was my kind of strike against Russian politics, and so what else?
Yeah, that's true
I
as
hope.
well. Sometimes it has happened to me as well. Sometimes we are angry against our own country, and we don't follow, and it has happened to me as well. I remember that an irony happened in my personal life, that I was in a really bad situation, and in those years, my country, Chile, won the subcontinental cup 2 times, right? 2 times, and I was really angry about that.
Really ironical.
Ironical, yeah, ironical.
Ironic, yeah.
Yeah. Do you come or follow football a little bit?
Not really. I mean, in my country, people are crazy about football, especially Spanish teams like Barcelona and Real Madrid. Like, if you ask any British person, one of the questions that he might ask you when he introduces himself is, "Do you support Barcelona or Real Madrid?" So he bases his relationship based on what you choose. So, I mean, I don't watch football that much, only World Cups, and World Cups not every match, only my favorite team, which is Brazil. I don't know, I've always interested in Brazil team because my favorite player was Ronaldo Luis. So, yeah, but I don't watch football that much. And in my country, it's even more ridiculous. I think in Russia is better, but in my country, it's even more absurd. Because, sometimes the audience are fighting and they make a big damage to the stadium. For example, 3 months ago, there was a game between two teams and the audience got crazy. They throw bottles to the players and they destroyed the stadium. So usually that happens in my country. There are cities, they don't like each other. So when they play, always there is a fight between the audience and the players. So that's why I don't look at my country's league at all. But other games, when I see someone watch a game, when I visit someone's house and they watch a game, then I watch with them. It's normal. Like once in a while, once in a blue moon. But no more than that. I don't really follow like what is happening. Who was sold for high money? What happened to Cristiano Ronaldo? What was Cristiano Ronaldo's ex-girlfriend? I don't really care about this.
Oh, okay. But I have a question. Perhaps you can explain it to me. I heard that you are from. I don't know more about it, but a little bit, and I'm really a little bit confused. You said that you are from Kurdistan.
Yes.
And I remember that last year, I guess, there was a woman here on Kanguro English, and she was for Kurdistan as well. And I looked a little bit about it on Wikipedia, and Kurdistan is splitted into 3 countries.
4 parts.
4 countries. 4 parts.
4 countries.
Can you explain us a little bit about it, Kamo?
Of course. Kurdistan is like politically complex a little bit. And it's one of the problems of Middle East, like one of the political problems of Middle East. And many people died because of it. And still there are fights and wars between these 4 countries and my people. But basically, Kurdistan is a region. It is somehow separated between 4 countries: Iraq, Iran, Turkey, and Syria. The country that I come from was north of Iraq, which now it is Kurdistan, and we have it's an autonomous region. We have our own flag, our own army and parliament. But other parts, they are still under these countries, and they have no. I mean, they don't have rights. In some countries, they don't even have basic rights. For example, in Syria, they didn't even have citizenship at all. No passport, nothing in Syria. In other countries, for example, in Turkey, there was linguistic genocide. We couldn't speak our own language. We couldn't study our own language. In my city, because we have Kurdish New Year, we couldn't celebrate it in 70s and 80s. So the situation was really horrible. In 1980s, Saddam Hussein, who was the ex-president of Iraq, attacked Kurdish people by chemical weapons. They used chemical weapon against us, and there were massive genocides. Like, they buried 180,000 people alive. So it was really horrible. And everything happened after World War II because my area, the Kurdistan, was colonized by British army at that time. So after World War II, there is a treaty called Sykes-Picot, which is they created borders of New Middle East. So Britain and France, they created new borders of Middle East, and they didn't give Kurdish people a country. Although before this treaty, there was another international treaty in Sever Treaty. They tried to give Kurdish people a country, a state, but in Sykes-Picot, they regretted that. They didn't give Kurdish people a country, so they divided us into 4 parts. They gave a part to Turkey, Iran, and Syria, and Iraq. And since then, there are a lot of wars against these countries and Kurdish people. So many people died.
Come on, I have to interrupt you because here there is a message that says time remaining of the meeting. Let me close it because I'm scared that this will be kicked out suddenly. Let me. I don't know how much this will remain. Perhaps we can join. Well, for perhaps a short second part to. I don't know, but there is a countdown. 1 minute. Can you guys perhaps wait? I guess 5 minutes to resume.
But I'm afraid after the countdown, my phone will explode.
No, I don't think so. Okay, I'm going to end the meeting, and then I want to. Kamo is talking us about a really interesting thing about Kurdistan. I'm going to stop before being kicked out. Okay, see you in some minutes time, guys.
Okay.
Great.
Okay.
Great.